Now imagine waking up each day to a world that never pauses, where notifications, deadlines, and the constant hum of social media pull your attention in every direction. The pace of life feels relentless, and your mind often drifts into worry, comparison, and fleeting moments of anxiety. Somewhere in the middle of this endless stream of stimuli, a quiet question arises. How do we anchor ourselves, find calm, and move forward without losing our inner balance? Today, we turn to Stoic philosophy, an ancient wisdom that has guided countless minds through turmoil, offering a pathway to motivation, a growth mindset, and inner strength. Through the gentle practices of patience, reflection, and mindful awareness, this philosophy teaches us not only to endure challenges, but to embrace them as opportunities for deeper self-understanding and lasting calm. We turn to the quiet landscapes of the mind, where the greatest battles unfold. In today's fast-paced world, life seems relentless, yet the storms we endure are not only external. Within, the mind drifts through doubt, fear, and restlessness, navigating currents of uncertainty and tension. Each thought, worry, and fleeting emotion becomes a terrain where inner strength and resilience are quietly forged, shaping who we are. It is here, in this unseen space, that Stoic philosophy invites us to pause and observe. Ancient wisdom suggests that true strength emerges not from the avoidance of hardship, but from the conscious embrace of inner struggle. Now imagine a world without struggle, where every challenge simply dissolves before reaching consciousness. At first, it may seem ideal, even serene. Yet, without friction, there is no growth, no sharpening of character, no depth of understanding. The Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, recognize that life's pressures, when approached with mindfulness and patience, can cultivate resilience. Each tension, each internal conflict, is a teacher, a guide pointing toward the untapped reservoirs of strength within. But there's another layer to consider. Modern life bombards us with distractions and fleeting pleasures, masking the subtle power of reflection. Notifications, social comparison, and relentless productivity can erode our sense of self. Here, the Stoic principle that peace begins within becomes a radical practice. By turning inward, by observing thoughts and emotions without immediate reaction, one can meet suffering not with resistance, but with understanding. This is not resignation. It is mastery. Think of the tumult of history. Empires rise and fall. Pandemics sweep across continents, and yet individuals, grounded in inner discipline, have endured and flourished. The diaries of Marcus Aurelius reveal a man surrounded by political chaos, disease, and personal loss, yet finding serenity through contemplation and self-mastery. His reflections remind us that external circumstances cannot dictate inner peace. The control we possess over our thoughts, attitudes, and responses is where true freedom resides. In the quiet moments, Stoicism whispers a profound truth. Life's adversities are inevitable, but suffering is optional. How we interpret and respond to events shapes the contours of our character. Seneca encouraged preparing for the unexpected, not through anxiety but through measured reflection. By considering challenges before they arrive, we cultivate a mind that remains steady amidst turbulence. Every disappointment, every failure, every painful encounter becomes a stepping stone, a chance to deepen self-knowledge and fortitude. Now imagine applying this awareness daily. A moment of frustration at work, a harsh word from a friend, or a setback in personal goals, each can be reframed as an invitation to practice patience and resilience. Here, the inner struggle becomes a laboratory for personal growth. The mind, trained in the quiet discipline of observation, learns to navigate challenges with composure. Through such practice, even small adversities transform into lessons, shaping not only responses but the very character of the individual. But Stoicism is not only about the individual. It offers insight into our relationships and interactions. By recognizing the limits of what we control, we cultivate empathy and tolerance. The struggles of others, mirrored in our own inner challenges, foster understanding rather than judgment. Daily mindfulness, inspired by Stoic thought, invites us to slow down, listen deeply, and respond with intentionality rather than reflex. In this way, inner struggle becomes not a burden, but a bridge connecting awareness, patience, and meaningful engagement with the world. Consider the unexplained mysteries and archaeological discoveries that reveal ancient lives lived under pressures both similar and vastly different from our own. These remnants of the past remind us that human struggle is timeless. From the marble forums of Rome to quiet monasteries in distant lands, individuals have confronted suffering, uncertainty, and mortality with reflection and discipline. In observing these echoes of history, we find that the capacity to endure and grow is universal, transcending time and culture. And yet, the inner struggle is not solely about hardship. It is also a practice of noticing subtleties, the fleeting thoughts, the rising emotions, the quiet tensions that often go unexamined. Daily reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or mindful observation, trains the mind to recognize these currents without being swept away. This gentle awareness fosters calm, allowing the observer to distinguish between what is fleeting and what is essential, between what requires response and what simply passes. Imagine the patience required to nurture such awareness. It is not instantaneous, nor is it always comfortable. Early attempts may reveal restlessness, doubt, or frustration. But here, the growth mindset emerges. Each repetition, each conscious observation, strengthens the mental muscles of discernment and self-mastery. Through small, consistent efforts, the mind learns to meet discomfort with curiosity rather than avoidance, cultivating a resilience that is both practical and deeply comforting. From the perspective of modern life, Stoicism offers a counterpoint to constant stimulation and superficial achievement. It asks us to consider what is within our control and what is not. By identifying the boundaries of influence, we free ourselves from the unnecessary weight of external expectations. Strength is found not in domination over the world, but in mastery over our own perceptions, choices, and intentions. This inner cultivation, practiced with patience and awareness, creates a foundation of calm that endures regardless of circumstance. Finally, as we reflect on the lessons of Epictetus, we see that our interpretations of events, more than the events themselves, shape our reality. Pain, failure, and uncertainty are inevitable, yet they do not have to define us. By embracing the inner struggle, by exercising patience, and by nurturing a mindful awareness of the present moment, we transform adversity into opportunity. Each day becomes a canvas on which resilience, insight, and tranquility are painted through deliberate attention and care. In this space of quiet reflection, the Stoic journey unfolds gently. Strength is discovered not in external victories, but in the serene observation of the mind and heart. Patience becomes a companion, guiding us through uncertainty and discomfort. Inner struggle, once feared or resisted, reveals itself as the crucible in which character, wisdom, and lasting calm are forged. Here, in the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern life, the path toward a meaningful, resilient, and deeply rooted self begins. From here, we turn our attention to the roots of Stoic philosophy, tracing its emergence in the sunlit port city of Athens, where marble columns met the ceaseless rhythm of the Aegean Sea. In this space, where human curiosity intersected with the mysteries of life, thinkers like Zeno of Citium began to articulate a vision of life guided by reason, virtue, and inner discipline. The world around them was turbulent, yet these early Stoics sought a way to cultivate tranquility amidst chaos. Now imagine the streets of ancient Greece, filled with merchants, philosophers, and citizens debating the nature of justice, fate, and the soul. In these conversations, Stoicism took shape as a practical guide to living rather than a mere intellectual exercise. Its teachings offered tools to navigate uncertainty, emphasizing that the mind, disciplined and aware, could remain untouched by external upheaval. The philosophy was born not in isolation, but through engagement with life's complexity, a response to the unpredictability that every human has faced across the centuries. From Athens, Stoicism traveled to Rome, where its principles found expression in the lives of men and women facing immense responsibility and public scrutiny. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, wrote his meditations not for others, but as a mirror to his own soul. Each reflection, preserved through time, reveals an individual striving to harmonize duty, personal growth, and ethical living. Similarly, Epictetus, once enslaved, taught that freedom is not found in circumstances, but in the ability to govern one's mind. These voices echo across history, reminding us that control over our perceptions is the foundation of resilience. But Stoicism is not a rigid doctrine. It evolved through interpretation and practice. Seneca, a statesman in Rome, emphasized preparation for adversity and reflection upon mortality, inviting readers to confront life's uncertainties with equanimity. Through letters and essays, he illuminated the daily practice of self-examination and patience, encouraging individuals to observe emotions without being consumed by them. In these writings, we sense a dialogue between personal insight and universal human experience, a conversation that continues to resonate in modern times. Now consider how Stoicism intersects with other ancient wisdom traditions. Across the deserts and rivers of India, Hindu and Bolomanic teachings explored similar principles: detachment from transient outcomes, mindful reflection, and ethical action. Though differing in cultural context, these philosophies share a recognition of human vulnerability and the cultivation of inner strength. In modern educational videos on philosophy and mindfulness, these parallels highlight how ancient wisdom across civilizations points to enduring truths about patience, growth, and self-mastery. Archaeological discoveries remind us that Stoicism was lived, not merely written. From weathered inscriptions to carefully preserved scrolls, we glimpse individuals grappling with fear, ambition, and mortality. These artifacts tell stories of personal struggle, reflection, and deliberate practice. They provide tangible proof that Stoicism, while intellectually rich, was a path for daily life. Observing these remnants, one can imagine a Stoic citizen pausing by candlelight, reflecting on challenges, or finding calm amidst the clamor of a bustling forum. But there is more than history here. The evolution of Stoicism also lies in its adaptability. Over centuries, the principles of inner discipline and mindful awareness have informed not only philosophy, but psychology, leadership, and modern approaches to personal development. Authors like Ryan Holiday and thinkers like Tim Ferriss bring Stoic concepts into contemporary contexts, emphasizing daily mindfulness, intentional focus, and the transformative power of perspective. The ancient guidance meets the modern mind, offering practical lessons for resilience and purposeful action. Now imagine the subtle interplay of time, culture, and thought. Stoicism did not remain static. It absorbed, reflected, and adapted. Its essence, control over perception, cultivation of virtue, and patience in adversity, remains intact, yet it speaks differently to each era. This adaptability is perhaps why the philosophy continues to inspire, why its principles remain relevant in a world of constant change. Daily mindfulness and reflective practice, drawn from these teachings, create a bridge between past and present, between ancient wisdom and modern life. And yet, understanding Stoicism requires more than knowledge. It requires experience. It asks us to notice the currents of our own inner life, the rise and fall of emotions, the moments of doubt, the friction between desire and reality. By observing these phenomena, one learns the core Stoic lesson: our interpretation of events, rather than the events themselves, shapes our inner state. This insight, echoed by Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus alike, transforms our approach to struggle, failure, and uncertainty. From this perspective, the evolution of Stoicism is not merely historical, it is deeply personal. Each individual becomes both student and practitioner, reflecting on challenges, practicing patience, and developing resilience. Through daily observation and mindful reflection, the ancient principles of virtue and reason manifest in contemporary life. Strength emerges quietly, not through dramatic victories, but through subtle, consistent attention to thought, choice, and action. Now reflect on the broader arc of history. Stoicism arose in a world of bustling cities, political intrigue, and human frailty, yet its insights remain vivid today. The philosophy's endurance across millennia testifies to the universality of its principles. That inner struggle, when met with awareness and patience, becomes the crucible of personal growth. As we study archaeological discoveries and read historical texts, we find that these ideas were not abstract. They were lived, embodied, and continually refined. In the modern context, Stoicism invites us to practice these lessons in subtle yet profound ways. Daily mindfulness, careful attention to thoughts, and the cultivation of patience become acts of deliberate self-education. By integrating Stoic principles into work, relationships, and moments of solitude, one can navigate life's complexities with a calm, intentional presence. The evolution of Stoicism, therefore, is both historical and experiential, a journey from the bustling streets of ancient Athens to the inner landscapes of contemporary minds. Finally, the study of Stoicism's origins and evolution offers a quiet inspiration. We see that across time and culture, humans have sought similar truths: mastery over the self, clarity of perception, and the courage to face life with equanimity. By tracing the philosophy's path from Zeno to Marcus Aurelius, from ancient scrolls to modern interpretations, we gain a map for navigating our own challenges. The wisdom is not merely academic. It is a lived practice, waiting to be discovered, applied, and embodied in each moment of our lives. We turn to the bridge between philosophy and lived experience, where Stoicism reveals its true power. It is not merely an abstract doctrine for contemplation. Its significance emerges when integrated into the flow of daily life. Each morning offers a chance to practice awareness. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to exercise patience, and every challenge invites reflection rather than reaction. By observing thoughts and emotions without immediate judgment, we cultivate resilience and clarity. Stoicism teaches that the principles of virtue, reason, and self-discipline gain meaning only when lived consciously, guiding our choices, actions, and perception throughout each day. Imagine waking in the morning and allowing a few moments of calm to settle before the world's demands rush in. These minutes, small as they seem, set the tone for intentional action, mindful awareness, and resilience in the face of uncertainty. Now consider the workplace, a place often filled with stress, deadlines, and unpredictable challenges. By observing thoughts and emotions without immediate reaction, one cultivates a steady focus. Decisions can be made with clarity rather than anxiety, and setbacks become opportunities to practice patience. Daily mindfulness, informed by Stoic principles, transforms pressure into purposeful energy, helping the mind navigate complexity with calm and intention. But Stoicism extends beyond professional life into relationships. When confronted with conflict or frustration, the philosophy encourages listening with understanding rather than reacting impulsively. Each interpersonal challenge is an invitation to exercise empathy, self-awareness, and ethical choice. Recognizing that we cannot control the thoughts or behaviors of others, yet can manage our own responses, provides freedom from resentment and fosters harmony in human interactions. Now imagine moments of solitude, those quiet hours where reflection becomes possible. The Stoics taught that turning inward cultivates strength, clarity, and patience. Journaling, meditative observation, or mindful contemplation allows the mind to examine patterns, confront fears, and reinforce intentions. These practices, though simple, become powerful tools for integrating Stoic principles into the fabric of daily life. Inner struggle transforms into conscious growth when observed and met with calm attention. Consider the small, repetitive practices that build a resilient mind. A morning reflection, noting what is within your control, followed by mindful engagement with each task, cultivates a steady and purposeful life. Evening contemplation reinforces lessons learned, allowing challenges to be reframed as learning opportunities. This daily rhythm mirrors the Stoic emphasis on habitual practice, where virtue and wisdom are nurtured gradually through patient and consistent effort. But there is also the cultivation of perspective. Life inevitably presents disappointment, failure, and uncertainty. Stoicism reminds us that these experiences do not have to dictate emotional states. By focusing on what is controllable, our thoughts, choices, and attitudes, we create an inner landscape resistant to the turbulence of circumstance. This mindset fosters resilience and allows challenges to become teachers, guiding us toward deeper self-understanding and personal growth. From here, we turn to the body of knowledge preserved through centuries. The writings of Marcus Aurelius and Seneca offer practical exercises, rehearsing adversity, reflecting on mortality, and consciously choosing responses aligned with virtue. These practices, while rooted in ancient wisdom, translate seamlessly into modern routines. Each moment becomes a laboratory for personal development, where patience and self-discipline strengthen the foundation of inner calm. Now imagine approaching social interactions with this Stoic lens. Each conversation, each encounter, can be met with thoughtful attention and ethical consideration. The practice of recognizing what is within your control and releasing attachment to outcomes transforms social tension into an opportunity for mindfulness and connection. Through patient observation, even ordinary exchanges become meaningful opportunities to live Stoic principles in action. Daily mindfulness also includes observing subtle emotions and habitual reactions. By noticing irritation, impatience, or anxiety as they arise, and reflecting on their impermanence, one learns to respond rather than react. This gentle, deliberate engagement with inner experience aligns with the Stoic growth mindset. Progress is cultivated over time, through attentive, consistent practice. Strength is found not in suppressing emotions, but in understanding and integrating them. Now consider the broader world, filled with constant noise, endless notifications, and countless distractions that tug at our attention. The pace of modern life can feel relentless, and it is easy to become swept away by external demands, obligations, and the expectations of others. In such an environment, our mental space often shrinks, leaving little room for reflection, clarity, or conscious choice. Stoicism reminds us that even in the midst of this chaos, we can cultivate an inner sanctuary, a quiet place within the mind where observation, awareness, and deliberate thought are possible. In these conditions, the deliberate pause becomes revolutionary. By stepping back from automatic reactions and habitual patterns, we regain autonomy over our attention and energy. This pause does not require elaborate rituals or extended periods of meditation. It can be as simple as noticing a breath, observing a fleeting thought without judgment, or allowing oneself a few quiet moments to reflect on intentions and priorities. Such small practices accumulate, gradually reshaping how we respond to the world. Daily application of Stoic principles transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for growth. A reflective journal entry, a conscious decision to act with patience, or mindful observation of emotions may seem modest, yet over time they cultivate resilience, serenity, and perspective. In a world that often feels chaotic, these consistent, intentional acts create a foundation of calm, empowering us to navigate life with clarity, balance, and enduring inner strength. But Stoicism is not only about endurance. It is also about embracing the present moment fully. Life's challenges, whether minor inconveniences or significant crises, become catalysts for inner development. The philosophy teaches that the mind, when trained through reflection and patience, can meet each moment with clarity, purpose, and calm. Through repetition, these habits form a foundation for meaningful, resilient living, where inner struggle is transformed into opportunity and insight. Finally, consider the integration of Stoic practice into modern routines. Whether in professional work, personal relationships, or moments of solitude, the principles of observation, reflection, and patience guide action. Each day becomes a canvas for deliberate engagement, a space where inner growth, resilience, and wisdom are cultivated. By applying Stoicism in daily life, you turn philosophy into lived experience, allowing ancient wisdom to shape the rhythms of modern existence, and transforming challenge into opportunity for growth. The voices of those who have walked the path of inner discipline continue to echo across time, revealing how Stoic philosophy remains relevant and transformative. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, faced immense political pressure, personal loss, and the relentless responsibilities of ruling an empire. Despite these challenges, he cultivated clarity, patience, and resilience through careful reflection and disciplined practice. His meditations, written as a mirror for his own soul, remind us that true mastery is not over circumstances, but over oneself. The wisdom embedded in his daily routines, his deliberate attention to thoughts and emotions, illustrates that the cultivation of inner calm is both an art and a lifelong commitment. Centuries later, the principles of Stoicism continue to inspire thinkers, writers, and practitioners who adapt ancient wisdom to the modern world. Individuals like Ryan Holiday and Tim Ferriss have translated these teachings into actionable strategies for productivity, decision-making, and resilience. They demonstrate that Stoicism is not merely a historical curiosity or philosophical abstraction. It is a practical framework that can guide daily life. The philosophy encouraged deliberate reflection, measured responses, and ethical consideration, helping individuals navigate uncertainty, pressure, and emotional turbulence with poise. This continuity across time underscores a profound truth. The power of Stoicism lies in the mind's cultivation. External events, no matter how chaotic or demanding, cannot determine inner peace unless we allow them to. By observing our thoughts, practicing patience, and refining judgment, we build a foundation of stability and wisdom that persists across centuries. The reflections of Marcus Aurelius, interpreted through modern voices, reveal a timeless path. Strength, clarity, and resilience arise not from controlling the world, but from mastering one's own inner landscape, moment by moment, with intention and presence. But the lessons are more subtle than rules or techniques. They invite introspection. We are prompted to ask, who do I wish to become? What qualities will guide my responses to uncertainty, disappointment, or fear? Historical and modern Stoics alike emphasize that self-awareness, patience, and moral clarity are cultivated slowly, through observation, reflection, and intentional action. This is not a quick fix, but a lifelong dialogue with oneself. Consider also the notion of calm as resistance. In a noisy, distracted world, maintaining inner steadiness is itself an act of courage. By choosing reflection over reaction, patience over haste, and awareness over distraction, we assert control over the mind's landscape. Daily mindfulness transforms these choices into habits, creating a resilient framework for facing challenges without being consumed by them. The practice of calm becomes, paradoxically, an act of strength in a turbulent environment. Across both historical examples and personal practice, the essential message of Stoicism remains clear and consistent. Epictetus taught that events themselves carry no inherent meaning. They are neutral. What shapes our experience is how we perceive, interpret, and respond to them. Modern psychologists and educators echo this perspective, highlighting practices like cognitive reframing, emotional regulation, and mindful reflection as critical tools for mental health and resilience. In this way, Stoic philosophy serves as a bridge between the ancient and the modern, blending centuries-old introspective practices with contemporary scientific understanding of how humans can cultivate stability, clarity, and emotional strength. Applying these lessons in daily life transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for growth. Each moment of frustration at work, each tension in a relationship, or every pang of self-doubt can become a practice field for patience, discernment, and ethical choice. Stoic thinkers remind us that growth does not always arise from extraordinary circumstances. It often emerges quietly from the mundane. By observing thoughts without judgment, responding intentionally rather than impulsively, and practicing consistent self-discipline, we gradually shape a life that is more composed, resilient, and purposeful. The journey of integrating Stoic principles is subtle and ongoing. It requires gentle persistence, repeated reflection, and attention to the rhythms of daily life. Each conscious act of awareness, each mindful pause before reaction, slowly reinforces inner strength and wisdom. Over time, this deliberate cultivation transforms ordinary actions into deliberate steps toward a life defined not by external chaos, but by steady clarity, inner calm, and enduring resilience. But beyond personal application, Stoicism encouraged connection with the broader human story. Historical accounts, letters, and philosophical treatises reveal the universality of struggle and the enduring potential for inner mastery. From the streets of ancient Rome to the modern office, the same principles of self-awareness, ethical reflection, and patience apply. Observing this continuity fosters humility, empathy, and a sense of shared human endeavor. Consider the role of unexplained mysteries and enduring questions in shaping our understanding. Archaeological discoveries, historical accounts, and preserved texts reveal how people confronted uncertainty, suffering, and the unknown. These glimpses into human resilience illustrate that Stoicism is not theoretical. It is a lived practice. Across time, individuals have turned inward to find calm, harness patience, and cultivate strength, demonstrating that philosophical insight is inseparable from practical living. Now reflect on the integration of historical and modern insights. Stoicism offers a template for navigating life's complexities. Observe, reflect, act with awareness, and release attachment to what is beyond control. By embracing this approach, we build a resilient, grounded perspective. Ancient wisdom meets modern life in a continuous dialogue, where lessons from emperors, philosophers, and contemporary thinkers converge to illuminate the path of deliberate, mindful, and meaningful living. Finally, we arrive at the emotional and practical implications of these lessons. The philosophy suggests that mastery of self is the foundation for enduring satisfaction, ethical engagement, and clarity of purpose. Whether through journaling, reflective practice, mindful pauses, or ethical decision-making, Stoicism provides tools for cultivating resilience and calm. By connecting historical example with modern adaptation, we see a living philosophy, one that speaks to the present while honoring the wisdom of the past. In this ongoing journey, each day offers a chance to practice patience, reflection, and disciplined awareness. Challenges are reframed as opportunities, internal struggles become avenues for growth, and the mind learns to navigate uncertainty with calm and purpose. The voices of historical and modern thinkers converge, reminding us that the cultivation of inner strength is timeless, accessible, and profoundly transformative. Through consistent practice, the wisdom of Stoicism unfolds not as abstract theory, but as a tangible, lived guide for navigating the complexities of human life with grace, insight, and enduring calm. As we conclude this journey into Stoic philosophy, remember that these teachings are more than ideas, they are a living practice. Through inner struggle, patience, and mindful reflection, we cultivate motivation, a growth mindset, and lasting inner strength. Life's challenges, failures, and uncertainties are not barriers but opportunities to build resilience, gain insight, and refine character. Each moment of reflection and mindful pause transforms experience into wisdom and turmoil into calm. By bringing these practices into daily life, through observation, journaling, or mindful awareness, you nurture a steady and resilient mind. Stoicism encourages embracing the present, releasing attachment to outcomes beyond your control, and cultivating a grounded, serene perspective. If this video inspires you, subscribe, leave a comment, and explore these practices yourself. Even a few minutes a day can guide you closer to inner peace, clarity, and enduring strength.